Hello again, my friends. Eric Pearson here with another demonstration of Frontier Pilot Simulator. After the excitement of our last mission, I think it's time we take our hard-earned credits and invest them into further upgrades for our ship. So here I am, taxiing to the hangar, and let's see what we can get. And that's the thing, every hangar has a different selection of parts and ships available. So let's see what we can find today. Alright, so we've got about 175,000 credits to play with. And we've got a couple of upgrades potentially worth getting. We have the butterfly engines, which give us double the thrust of our current engines, and that is definitely worth going for. That'll enable us to carry heavier loads, get longer range on long flights, might even get a little better maneuverability. So let's get these replaced right now. Now, a curious little aside, I mentioned that this aircraft reminds me a little bit of the C-5 Galaxy used by the U.S. Air Force. What's interesting is that General Electric designed the TF-39 engines specifically for use on the C-5. And those engines had a characteristic sound like nothing else out there. They had this growling whine. And there have been times where I've been out somewhere and I hear that sound and immediately my head's on a swivel, looking up into the sky, wondering where the C-5 is. Now, in more recent years, the Air Force has replaced the old TF-39s with more powerful, more efficient CF-6s. And yeah, they work better than TF-39s, but they just don't have the same sound. Oh well. Meanwhile, let's look at what else we've got here. We have these external batteries, which can expand our battery power, our battery capacity, but at a penalty to our drag. But we don't have enough money to buy those. But that's okay, because I know another base nearby where we can get a cheaper version of the same thing. So let's go. Alright, so let me hit M on the keyboard to punch up the map. And now I'm going to plot a course. I'm going to right-click on the base Metallic N, and we'll get underway. So let's take off. Hello. Yeah, these engines have a lot more lift to them. I mean, I'm taking off almost as quickly as I did with my little Scarab. Alright, almost up to speed, and deploy wings. Alright, let's back off the engine a little bit. So with these more powerful engines, we've got a pretty good range here of about 139, 140 kilometers. And our trip to the Metallic End is only going to be 1/3 that, so we're going to have fuel to spare here. While I'm at it, let me activate Augmented Reality mode. And if you look off to the left, you can see those red particles indicating a volcano. Also in AR mode, you can see orange particles depicting geysers. So when the weather's rough and you can't see that far ahead, using AR mode is very useful. In fact, I saw an upgrade for one of the other ships where flying in AR mode actually gave you a bonus on fuel efficiency. While we're flying along here, I've got another fun fact for you. The predecessor to the B-52 bomber was something called the B-36 Peacemaker from Convair. It was an interesting design. Not only was it massive, it used a combination of propeller engines and jet engines to carry its massive bomb load. It had 6 large propellers in a pusher configuration on the back edge of the wing, and then it also had 4 jet engines in twin pods on pylons underneath the wings near the tips. And some people said that when this thing was running at full power, they called that 6 turning and 4 burning. However, there were concerns about the engine's general performance, so some people joked it was more like 6 smoking and 4 choking. Now, if you look off to the left, we have these large balloon jellyfish creatures floating in the sky. Not sure what they are, but I know that if you get too close, they start throwing streams of particles. I don't know what they do to you, but generally wise to give them a wide berth. Pretty to look at, though. And look, they come in a variety of colors. Cherry, orange, lime. And we're getting up there on our altitude. Looks like we're continuously rising up. I wonder if it has to do with the aerodynamic shape of our fuselage. In the real world, there is what they call a lifting body, which is a type of fuselage design where the main body of the aircraft is shaped to help provide aerodynamic lift in addition to the wings. It's been played with here and there. I know Lockheed was working on a potential replacement for the space shuttle called the Venture Star, and it was a roughly triangular fuselage with stubby wings. Okay, we're coming up on the base, so I'm going to switch to vertical mode, and I'm going to use fixed thrust mode for a moment. I'm going to try and line up our trajectory indicator and keep us on track as best as I can, trying not to oscillate too much. We've certainly got enough fuel that we can make this work. Still doing okay. I don't want to come down too hard. And that beep tells us that we're now below 50% on our fuel. But we're okay. We're still okay. Except that the weather just got a little rough. It's now getting a little foggy. So maybe it's a good thing we're landing. Okay, coming down nice and slow. Okay, engines off. Nice landing. Okay, the hangar is directly behind us. So I can actually back up in any orientation. As long as the body is centered on that mark, we can still get picked up. The loading arm will just pick us up and turn us around. Okay, let's see if we can get ourselves some batteries. Okay, here they are. The NRG 228 Ballena batteries. Newest design from Paul Gears, uses bipolar routing technology, significantly increasing the initial energy supply. Emilian Corporation is so impressed with the unit that they're considering licensing the design to include in the basic configuration. So this has an extra capacity of 4,000 instead of 7,000, but the air penalty is less. So, but it's cheaper. We can afford this. So let's do this up. So here they go. See how they fit right under the armpits of the wings? Now, I'd like to point out that this upgrade resembles something installed on military aircraft in the real world. It's called a conformal fuel tank, or CFT. The name comes from the fact that they generally conform to the general shape of the aircraft's body. As a result, CFTs impose less drag on an aircraft than drop tanks, which also take up hard points typically used to carry ordnance. However, CFTs can't be jettisoned mid-flight the way drop tanks can. Now, let's take a look at a few photos from Wikipedia. This photo is from Staff Sergeant Aaron D. Allman II, and it shows an F-15E Strike Eagle fitted with CFTs directly aside the engines and under the wing root. If you look closely, you can see that the CFT also includes its own hardpoints to carry extra missiles. Now here is a photo from Tech Sergeant Robert W. Valenka showing a similar CFT before it's been mounted, and here you can better see those extra hardpoints. And then finally, here is a photo from Master Sergeant Kevin J. Gruenwald. This Israeli F-16 mounts a combination of CFTs atop the fuselage near the wing root and underwing drop tanks. So this plane is effectively a flying fuel tank. So that's pretty good. Now, the one thing I want to point out is, coming back to our own aircraft here, we have extra capacity, but we need to top it off. So I'm going to do that right now. So here we go. Perfect. Alright, so let's exit here. And there we go. Now you notice in the lower left corner, our fuel indicator reads 14,000 instead of 10,000. So that's going to give us a little more range. So I'd say this is a good place to stop. So thank you very much for watching, and join me next time for more demonstrations of this game and others. Eric Pearson, signing off.